lesson plan, apart from whatever else that we have spoken about. I will not spend much time here. And of course, I'm sure all of you know what is the self-evaluation and the peer evaluation sheet. There are two kinds of self-evaluation sheet. One is, of course, when there is a project, a teamwork, and in the project, what has been my individual performance, I assess that. And what do I evaluate myself on? I evaluate myself on these aspects of communication skills. Where was I able to communicate well? What kind of cognitive skills? How much was I able to understand? To what level was I able to understand the entire problem? And how did I kind of ensure that I came up with a solution? So my creative skills, my collaborative skills, was I able to evaluate my peers and understand where I stand and where can I best contribute? What are my strengths? Social skills, research skills, and work habits. So these are the different things that I am able to evaluate myself on. How was I? Could I do enough research work? Was my research work focused? What kind of work habits did I exhibit? Was I at a functional level, or was I highly involved? And was I a win-win kind of a person where I not only help myself, but I could also help others conduct their. So what kind of an evaluation do I have for myself? So this is the self-evaluation sheet that we are talking about. But there is also another self-assessment sheet. Just for the sake of convenience, I have called it as a self-assessment sheet. This is with regard to the academic lessons. Now, how? We spoke about the learning outcomes planned for a topic. Now, the same learning outcomes are listed out in the self-assessment sheet. And I asked myself, was I able to evaluate? Was I able to list out the names? Was I able to differentiate between two different aspects, whatever be the topic? Was I able to think creatively and come up with a solution? So those are the things that I will assess myself on. Nothing but the learning outcomes that you have structured in the curriculum are the same ones which are reflected in your lesson plan, the same ones which you are framing your questions on in your assessment sheet, and the same ones which the child is evaluating himself on. Practically, what does that mean? That the child definitely has to know the learning outcomes. All right. So these are the two different kinds of assessments for self. Of course, for the team members, it is similarly in terms of how he or she was able to contribute for the project or the research work that was given. These are the different kinds of curriculum elements. When I say elements, these are academic elements which enhances academic learning and is completely oriented to the NEP 2020. Individual demo activities, the different kinds of activities that you could perhaps, the curriculum could give you. The structure of the curriculum will help you get those kind of elements. It's the initiation activity. I'm performing an activity in the class to show children how certain combination of things, like for example, the viscosity of liquids. Some of them can perfectly blend with others. Some of them float because their viscosity is different. Some of them sink because they are heavier. So those kind of individual demo activities, which is bringing in the concept of sink and float essentially, those kind of activities. Team and group activities, these are again learning elements where you give them team activity or a group activity, and these are planned in your curriculum. These are again elements of learning. Field trips we already spoke about. Swirls or thematic culmination. Again, many schools conduct at the end of a term, whatever the child has learned is expressed. The only thing that we are looking at is if it is an experiential learning, an application-based one, allow the child to immediately apply it to their immediate environment. For example, let's say the children have learned large numbers and you are giving them the population of different states. The child should be able to pick any chit, look at the number and plot it on a graph. Now he has learned how to do graph in mathematics. Population and the issues of having a large population, the numbers of population in each state is something he's learned in his social science. And he's able to use his mathematical skills to represent how the population numbers differ from state to state on a graph using or cultivating or plotting a bar graph. So that becomes an important aspect. Then there is integrated project presentation. IPP is what I call it. These are projects which have, like say for example, importance of organic farming. What can be done? So the teacher not only includes, the science teacher will bring in the aspect of organic farming. May we actually have organic farming done on ground, using all the processes that are involved for organic farming. Look at how many organic farmers we have in our society, or how much of land is being used for organic farming, and therefore find out how much of land doesn't or is getting barren because of the usage of pesticides and insecticides. So being able to assimilate this kind of information, bringing in perhaps the language in terms of expressing this entire scenario of the need for organic farming, and coming up with steps in terms of how you can perhaps have a rooftop organic farming of kitchen grown vegetables or kitchen vegetables. I think if those kind of projects are given to children, they are using a particular project and applying different things that they have learned in different subjects and languages to complete the project and present it. Now, the only thing over here is it has to be a project which is given to a wider audience. It's not just within the classroom. So you need to present it to the way I did it was presented to the students, to the parents and to externals, and they could kind of assess in terms of how much of learning, planning and thinking that the child has done in terms of completing this particular project work. How much has he studied on his own? What kind of a research work has he done? So everything is researched, the information, nothing is given to the child. So that is again an element that we are speaking about. Of course, Entrepreneurship Summit is something quite common across in many schools that they conducted. Children are taught the skills, life skills of survival. And the way we did it was we integrated it with art. And one of the important aspects is summer practicum. For grades 9, 10, 11, 12, you have guest speakers, you have power speakers who come and speak to your children. They are essentially startup companies who come and talk about different kinds of work that they have done. And what you accomplish is during the summer vacation, the child devotes about 105 hours with the startup company to go there and understand what the work involves. Now, how is this connected with what Mr. Abhishek said with higher education? The child has an idea of what that work actually involves. On ground, what does this work need? What is the current requirement in this particular area? These are all the things that the child gets projected to or exposed to, and it kind of helps him or her to choose the kind of subjects that he may want to post his 12th grade. Of course, this is just a learning cycle. I will not spend too much of time on this. I will quickly finish off with regard to this competency-based education. Lucy, or do I skip this?
You can quickly run us through that, and maybe in a minute, would you be able to wrap it up?
I think
so. Sorry.
I'm so sorry. I never realized that it would have so many things to be spoken about, but yeah, I think that topic itself was pretty huge. Okay, so I will go back to this. So competency-based education that NEP 2020 has been talking about is essentially around three things: curriculum design, develop the core skills. The core skills, what we spoke about Bloom's taxonomy, it is around developing that. And once the child is able to achieve that peak of the pyramid that I showed you, where he or she is able to synthesize and create things, is in a situation of self-actualization and is able to come up with original ideas to solve problems. I think those are the development of core skills that we are talking about. And that is what they are saying in terms of the curriculum design for us to be able to be a competency-based, follow a competency-based education system. And what does that help us to do? It actually develops global literacy skills, because this is exactly where the rest of the student population across the world is. They are not doing any form of rote memorization at all. Then around the teaching and learning, it is definitely talking about developing this kind of a teaching, learning, student-centered learning atmosphere being created, where the student becomes the focus in terms of how he is traveling through these levels of learning, and how you as a facilitator are helping the child move from the lower order thinking skills to the higher order thinking skills. How important it is of sharing the learning outcomes with the students. What is it that I want you to learn? If the child knows, it is better off, rather than, and please remember, it is not saying this is what we are going to learn today. No, no, no. It is not announcing the topic. It is about What are you going to learn in association with the existing problem in the immediate environment? That is the learning outcome that you need to share with the child. And of course, concentrating on feedbacks. If the child has not understood something, willing to go back and close that loop in terms of telling him what he or she needs to do and how you can restructure and re-explain and reassess. I think those constant feedbacks is something that we are looking more of FAs and less of essays. Finally, of course, the assessments also have to be based around real-time data, something that is available in the environment, which is a real-time data. Like today, there are so many hundred or lakhs or crores of cases around you. What is the precaution that you may want to take under the given circumstance where most of the adults have had double dose, whereas most of the children have not even had a single dose? So what is it that you can do in terms of this kind of a circumstance? Something like that. What I mean to say is real-time data, which is valid as of today. And of course, the entire CBE, that is the competency-based education, is based on the levels that we spoke about all this time. Last but not the least, these are the things, again, for the SAFL to be successful, this is what the government wishes to do. I'm sure there's a lot of literature available with the CBSE board and otherwise on the net. But essentially, for us to know, are we taking the children to the journey of these levels of learning to assess them at level 3, at level 5, level 8, precisely only to understand if the schools have been able to amend their learning outcomes? If not so, then the report that comes, obviously the report is going to be depending on how the children of a particular school performed. It is not going to be how a particular child performed. It's not an individual report, and it is not a report based on which we will either promote or demote the child. It has got nothing to do with it. It is only a feedback to the school that their LOs are strong or not strong. And if they're not strong, what can be done to strengthen them? And that is what this program is going to be all about. I don't think CTET needs to be mentioned at all, Lucy, because, it is essentially going to be dealing with, are the teachers equipped to adopt this new methodology? Are they able to focus on what an LO is, or are they, completely dispersed in terms of their focus? That is essentially what it is going to be looking at in the teachers in terms of how they are eligible for this particular test. So if we have to achieve where we have to go, I think adopting these measures, taking the child through the journey of the levels of learning, training the teacher to take them through those levels of learning, ability to identify what is the core element, and the child should be completely, as the facilitator, should be completely in tune with those core skills. I think that is what would be needed.